I'm Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. At the end of the school year in 2005, something significant happened in both of the universities in Winona. Brother Louis DeThomases of St. Mary's and Dr. Darrell Krueger of Winona State both stepped down as the presidents. During their tenures, we have seen many positive changes on the campuses. Both have become more successful with the student population, the quality of education, and financially. Today we'll talk with these two gentlemen and hear how they feel about the schools they turned into success stories. Winona State University is a public four-year college with an enrollment of approximately 7,500 undergraduate students located in the heart of Winona. It also has students located at the University Center in Rochester, Minnesota. Winona State University has recently received national acclaim as one of America's 100 best college buys. St. Mary's University is a private Catholic college with an enrollment of approximately 1,300 undergraduate students located on Terrace Heights at the west end of Winona. St. Mary's also has a campus in Minneapolis with an enrollment of approximately 3,500 non-resident students. The Great Lakes Colleges Association recently ranked St. Mary's the #1 Catholic liberal arts college in the Midwest and the #3 such institution in the whole country. Today we're on the beautiful St. Mary's University campus. 20-some years ago, this campus did not quite look the same. Since then, it has made much progress. It has grown in student population, in buildings, and in its presence across the nation. And most importantly, its endowment has grown substantially. Today, it is a strong institution that will remain in Winona for many years to come. Brother Louis DeThomases arrived at St. Mary's College in the summer of 1984. During his inauguration speech, he became an instant hit with his students.
And to express my gratitude to the entire student body, faculty, and staff, I use this inaugural occasion to declare that an extra day be added on our Thanksgiving holiday. We will have no class and no work on November 21st. Thank you, and God bless all.
During that era, Catholic colleges were closing across the country. St. Mary's itself was going through a very challenging period.
Also this summer, a very pessimistic outlook comes from Diane Ravitch, who was the Assistant Secretary of Education, and she says in her overview that small liberal arts schools with a meager endowment and a largely local reputation is an, in quotes, endangered species. And that is frightening, at least to me. But yet there is a great deal of optimism. We're not looking at death. So my bottom line is, the message to you is we have some excitement here.
Brother Louis is a visionary, and shortly after he arrived, he made things happen.
But if you listen to me carefully, I am absolutely correct. I'm saying there is a decline in the number of traditional domestic enrollment pool in this country. You all heard the numbers about, we are bottoming out here in 1993 or next year, and then it will be up. That is correct. But when you look about all of those people who make that upswing possible, very few of them are the traditional kind of student that St. Mary's College is equipped to handle today. The increases that we are going to see in numbers from 93 on include mostly minorities, urban dwellers, and academically unprepared people. And none of those usually go to a beautiful campus like this at St. Mary's College.
He was instrumental in St. Mary's global expansion by developing campuses in Minneapolis and Nairobi, Kenya. Under his leadership, the annual operating budget grew from $11 million to $53 million, and the endowment increased from $2.8 million to $47.7 million. Brother Louis is a wonderful mix of faith, finance, and comedy.
If you know Brother Lewis, you know that he has always been a man of great style, and a style not seen on Terrace Heights before.
Wow!
It is clear that under Brother Lewis' leadership, St. Mary's was part of one of those miracles in which so much changed, but so much of what is the essence of the institution has been enhanced and brought into greater focus than ever before.
Brother Louis, tell me what it's been like here at St. Mary's for the last 20 years.
Well, actually 21 years now. Let's not forget, 21 years.
Important.
Oh, yes, it is. It's just been exciting. It's been marvelous. For the most part, this has been my whole professional career here, 21 years. And I have to say that 21 years ago, when I came to Winona, it was a bit of a culture shock. I was used to being on the East Coast, very close to New York City. After getting adjusted to a different pace, a different culture, a different way of doing things, I have to say that these 21 years have been marvelous.
What has Winona meant to you?
I have been just marvelously impressed with the people in this area. Their goodness, their directness, their humility is something that is very obvious to me. Being from the fast-paced East Coast, it became very clear to me that this was a different culture. I've had to do a lot of changing in my ways of doing things, and I think the graciousness of so many of the people here on campus was evident by the fact that they also changed a little bit to accommodate me. I could be slowed down a little, but not enough, I think, to suit them 100%. So it was a transition for me, and it was difficult in the beginning because everything was so new. But as we progressed working together with the people here at St. Mary's, the brothers, the lay people, the priests, the sisters, everyone is just marvelously attuned to the mission of St. Mary's University. And that is everyone works together, and we consider all of the students we have entrusted to our care. That's the term we use. That is the De La Salle charism, if you will. And that's what happened here. And that's why, for 21 years, I have to say honestly, I've never been bored. I've been excited and enthused, and each day I have gotten up in the morning and say, I'm excited. I want to get to the office and do things. Not that I don't have any problems or issues or worries or disagreements. This is a human place. I have all of that. But the bottom line is, it's all worth it.
What were the highlights of your career here?
The most important to highlight for me is really the ordinary things that happen every day here. Working with young people, seeing young people who perhaps didn't have faith in themselves, young people who, even though they may put on this aura of confidence, are internally really not that confident and happy with themselves. Because we have this dimension where we're not just doing the intellectual formation of these students, but because we are a Catholic university, we are able to touch on the spiritual life of these students and to bring out the best of what Christianity is all about. And that is that, hey, you're something good. You're something wonderful. And young people need to hear that. Young people have to be treated with that respect and dignity that emanates from their goodness. Life is more than just getting an education to get a job. You're getting an education so that you can study in yourself that inner dimension, that spiritual part of you. That is probably the most awesome thing, better than meeting the Pope. I had an opportunity to meet the Pope in New Orleans as part of the Catholic colleges and universities. I've met a lot of dignitaries and all. Yes, that's wonderful. It's nice. But, it's truly that daily contact you have with young people to see them grow, to see them struggle and succeed. But then when you go to the cities, our Twin Cities campus, it is marvelous to see the adult learners who are just absolutely excited and enthused about their ability to go back into a college, university setup and get a degree and better their professional lives and do things that they felt that, oh, I could never do that. I couldn't get a master's degree. Or for some, they're working on a bachelor's completion degree. And that's why we in education, and especially here at St. Mary's, in a real sense are so blessed with work that isn't trivial, that isn't monotonous. Every day is a new day because you're seeing creation.
When you first arrived in 1984, what was the thing that you wanted to change the most about this campus?
The glaring necessity when I came here 21 years ago was to respond to the need for facilities. We needed better facilities academically, recreationally, residence-wise, technology-wise. Everything had to do with facilities and infrastructure. That was my biggest challenge.
During Brother Louis' tenure, over $45 million worth of new facilities have been added to Winona's campus. Tell me, what was probably the most difficult thing that you've done here?
I guess the most difficult are the management of human resources, and that is budgets. Trying to balance the need to put resources into facilities, technology, buildings, the grounds. All of those material resources cost big money, and you have that. And then you have to balance it with the need to be responsive to the human needs of faculty, staff. We've got to be able to give salaries that are good, and that isn't always easy to do. As I leave here, I truly can say the greatest pride I have is not that I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish, but that I can see that we are positioned for much greater things. So I don't think I could take any more pride than saying I'm leaving here knowing that I didn't accomplish everything I would like to have, but knowing for sure, without a doubt, that we're positioned now to go further, to do better, and to be more responsive to students. And that is an inestimable pride that I have. And I wear it on my head and my shoulders.
Now, I know you're renowned for your sense of humor, and I know you have a couple pat things that you like to say to some of the students as you're walking in the hall. Give us a little story about what kinds of things you like to tell them.
I guess I'm mainly noted for, and I think they're going to shoot me if I do this anymore, but your audience doesn't know me much, too much, so they haven't heard of it too much. But I think the most humorous thing that especially the students and faculty and staff and others respond to is that I often chastise them in the beginning by saying, I'm annoyed that you're mistaking me for that famous movie actor. And they look at me and they say, oh, yeah, you do look like Don Rickles or Grandfather Munster and stuff like that. And I say, oh, no, I'm often mistaken for Brad Pitt. Well, when I first came here a couple of decades ago, I used Robert Redford. But you pull that name out there now, and these young people, Robert Redford, who's that? So I've been Paul Newman, I've been Robert Redford, I've been Tom Cruise, and the latest now is Brad Pitt.
Well, I think you do kind of look like Brad Pitt.
Especially since I've changed my hairstylist. Yes, it really is.
That must be it.
Yes.
Now, I know this is not the last chapter in the book for you. Tell us what you have going in the future.
Well, the Board of Trustees has very graciously given me the title of Chancellor of the University. And as Chancellor of the University, I would be involved in the Twin Cities where my office will be with working at items and projects that the new president would like me to get involved with. That will probably, of course, be involved with the promotion of St. Mary's and its need to continue getting material resources. We have to grow our endowment, and we have to look at other services that we want, educational services that we want to offer. So all things like that, I would be at the service of the new president to promote St. Mary's as Brother Craig, our new president, would see and deem fit.
Brother Louis, you have been a shining light in this community and on this campus, and I want to thank you for all that you've done for Winona and for the campus as well. And we're all going to miss you so much.
Thank you very, very much.
Today we're on the beautiful campus of Winona State University. Back in the 70s when I went to school here, this was Winona Street. It cut right through the middle of campus. Students would have to dodge cars as they ran from one class to another. Today the street is no longer here. It has been turned into a beautiful plaza with restful sitting areas and a gazebo. Many positive changes to this university have taken place since then. Most occurred after 1989, when Dr. Darrell Krueger became the president of the school. In spring of 2005, he resigned his position, but before he left, we spoke to him about his feelings on the school he turned into a success story. Dr. Krueger, along with Brother Louis, was also a visionary leader. And from the moment he arrived on campus in 1989, he had a plan to put into effect.
With us, we have a bond issue that has a building that we need. One of the things that attracted me to this institution was that composite materials engineering program. And of course, we have a need for that additional money for the St. Teresa campus. The other reason that I came primarily to this institution was because of Rochester. We want to enhance this area of the state, to make it better if possible. And I feel that's, if I have a mission in life, that's what I think it is, to enhance the education in this country so that it undergirds and the democratic society that we live in and makes us economically competitive.
Minnesota and Winona have an outstanding visionary leader and change agent in Dr. Krueger. He has undeniably, unquestionably, noticeably, measurably changed the look, reputation, direction, and vision for this university, and he has charted a bright future for this institution.
Dr. Krueger, tell me what it has been like when you first arrived here in 1989. What did you think of the campus, and what were some of your dreams for changing the campus?
When I came to the university, I found a university that I thought could become the leading institution in the upper Midwest. It had all the ingredients, the beauty, the location, the nature of the faculty and staff. It was in Minnesota that loves education. So I was hoping that we could practice here the principles that would lead to a great education and become a national leader. The first thing that needed to be tackled is the relationships. And then I thought that we could upgrade the quality of student that was brought to the campus. And so we started working on that early on. And of course we had the College of St. Teresa closing at that time, which was a big issue in the community. And we had to try and figure out how to help with the community with the College of St. Teresa. And we were able to acquire, thanks to Bob Curlin, Lord's Hall and now a Tau Center.
On the core campus in the center of Winona, 3 significant buildings have been added during Dr. Krueger's tenure. At the north end is the beautiful Stark Hall, which is named after Tom Stark, a former WSU president. This building contains the Miller Brothers School of Engineering, which offers a one-of-a-kind throughout the nation composite engineering degree. It also houses the College of Health and Human Services. At the south end of campus is the beautiful new library. And on the west end is the latest building constructed on the campus, the Science Laboratory Center. This magnificent building is a state-of-the-art science building and truly an architectural gem. Campus itself must have been very important to you because this campus has changed an awful lot under your tenure. Tell me about your desire to change the campus and what you feel has happened since you've been here to the campus.
Well, every college, the essential ingredient, one of the essential ingredients is to have a campus that is inviting, where people can have learning communities emerge out of them. And if you come here when school is on, you'll find this campus, this bench filled with students, the campus walking with students, and by closing the streets, there's been a greater sense of community build. And the students are able to learn together more conveniently and develop the relationships necessary to deepen their education.
Well, your school has made some significant contributions in the technology world. I understand that you are a laptop school, and I'm not sure quite what that means. Can you explain that to us?
Well, every student acquires a laptop when they come here. They lease one from the university. They can go anywhere on campus and have access to the internet. And all the rooms we have access to, it's a highly technological, it's the largest institution in the nation that has this capacity.
What if I'm a student and I want to just sit out here on this bench or in the gazebo? Can I have my laptop out here?
Right here, you can connect to the internet.
Seriously? Wow.
And
even in the gazebo?
And in the gazebo, absolutely there.
That
you
is
can
fantastic.
You can connect hardline into in there. You can plug in there.
That's fantastic. Tell me about your most satisfying experience.
Well, I think it's working with the people. The people are the most important thing. And so I've gotten a lot of satisfaction. Of course, I like the fact that we have winning teams now and that we have a high-quality student body. The fact the highest quality in the MnSCU system, and that we have the highest graduation rates and that we have the highest achievement rates. I love the fact that we have a library and a science building and all of these things. But the most important things are the people.
Now tell me, Dr. Krueger, what has been the most difficult thing for you?
Well, it's not been Winona or the campus here. I think it's been the working within a system. I think I've pushed the system boundaries a little, and so that's been a challenge for me.
How do you feel about the Winona community?
I just can't imagine a better working relationship between a university and a community than what we have. The support of the mayor, the city council, the city manager has been just outstanding. And we've been able to work. We put a lot of pressure on this community. And they've held me to high standards and accountability in our performance and our behavior here. And that's been good, and I hope that we've responded. We co-sponsor some police to walk the neighborhoods in times. The police chiefs have told me that virtually every year we've decreased the amount of alcohol arrests in our community over the 16 years I've been here.
Okay, let's look at a little bit lighter side now. Tell me some funny incidents that have happened here to you.
Well, I think the worst has been that one of the students took a picture of me sleeping in one of the assemblies that we had, put it in the student newspaper.
That was tough to live down.
And embarrassing, yeah.
Tell me, what is your most memorable event from the campus?
Well, I think before last Friday, or 2 weeks ago Friday, I would have to pick like the acquiring of College of St. Therese or the dedication to the science building or the library. But when that library was named after me, there's nothing in my life that's probably going to surpass that.
Introduce the person that this day is all about. He came to this campus in 1989, relatively unheralded and not particularly warmly welcomed. But in the ensuing 16 years, a tenure that has made him the Dean of MnSCU Presidents, he has created a legacy that will benefit Winona State students for all of the years that this institution lives. The campus is much more beautiful. We've heard that, and we can see it. New educational initiatives have benefited students and elevated Winona State to a lofty place among higher education institutions. And new facilities, this library, chief among them, dot the landscape. It's a new place, but a place that also benefits from its heritage as the oldest teacher training institution west of the Mississippi. Yes, because of all he has done, because of all he has meant to Winona State, naming this facility the Darrell W. Krueger Library is a fitting and lasting tribute to progress, to making education better for the people who consume it and for all of those who benefit from it. Please welcome the 13th president of Winona State University, Dr. Darrell Krueger.
What an unbelievable, humbling experience that was.
I can't
The
imagine.
governor being here and the chancellor and the responses, which was unbelievable.
Tell me about your feelings about leaving Winona and the campus.
Well, this is a hard thing to do. It was very painful to leave something that you've loved so deeply and have so committed to. But we have to move on in life, look on. Nancy's family is getting older, my aunts and uncles are getting older, and each month, each year, it becomes less likely we'll be able to spend much time with them. We owe this to them. We owe it to ourselves to be able to go back to family and to work and support them.
Do you have any parting remarks for the community of Winona?
Well, the governor, when he interviewed me a couple of weeks ago on the radio, asked me a question similar to that, and I said to them that what I hoped would happen in society was that there would be a deep sense of true north, core values and principles that would guide and direct and help solve problems. Now, Winona needs this as well. We all need to have a sense of direction in our lives, and that would be important. But the most important thing is not achievement, results, but is the relationships. And if you have the relationships, then the results will come anyway. And so I would always put relationships first.
I want to thank you so much for everything that you have done for Winona.
Joyce, thank you so much for you and for what you've done. I've watched many of your shows. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, too, for joining me today. Please join me again next week. Till then, enjoy the Spirit of Winona.